Good morning, all of you. Since past few months, we have started the lecture series, and till now we have discussed on various legal topics, and we have discussed on various legal subjects. So today is the another occasion where we are going to discuss on another legal topic. The topic is laws on abolition of child labor and begging. We all know that on 12th of June, the United Nations has declared that that particular day will be regarded as a World Day against child labor. Okay, so in our country, there are varieties of laws which curtail the practice of child labor. But what was the exact scenario before the uh, freedom we got from the British? So that is the thing we have to discuss now before starting the exact uh, subject matter of child labor. We will discuss on what was the exact picture of the concept of child labor. Okay, so before the era of freedom, or we can say before the ruling of British people, were there any practice of child labor or not? So the answer is child labor was in picture since the ancient period. So we cannot deny that the child labor practice uh, was not in custom at that period of time. So in ancient period, or we can say in the rulings of British people as well, the practice of child labor was present. Okay, so what was the exact scenario at that time was the child labor was considered as a slavery. It was not in the form of the concept of child labor, but it was in the form of slavery. A particular person used to uh, use a minor, use a minor. The concept of minor means who is not uh, as age of at the age of adult suffrage. What we called is adult suffrage. Adult suffrage means a person who is a major and who is entitled to vote as per Constitution of India. The adult suffrage, the right given to the major person who is entitled to vote. The what is the definition of minor? The person who is not attained the age of adult suffrage. Okay, so the definition of minor, the definition of child is different as per the varieties of laws. The definition of child is given varieties of definition under different laws. A Factories Act, okay, the what we can say, the Indian Penal Code as well, and varieties of laws. They have defined the terminology of child in their own uh, phenomenon, okay, in their own context. So the concept of child labor, the concept of child and the labor, okay, a person who is entitled to get an employment is a person who has attained the age of adult suffrage. The person who is below the age of 15 years, okay, below the age of 15 years, he cannot be employed anywhere except by the due procedure of law or the law provided by the parliament or the state legislature. Okay, so child labor is prohibited in all laws. Okay, so in ancient period or the period of before the period of British rulings, the practice of child labor was in picture and was present in the form of slavery. Okay, there was another concept was called as uh, bonded labor. The concept of bonded labor was present at that time. What was the concept of bonded labor means? The bonded labor was a person who used to work to repay the amount of loan. Okay, I'm a particular person and I had taken a loan from a particular person. In that period of time there were a system of saukar. The saukar was a person who used to lend money to farmers. Okay, the concept of bonded labor was basically in the category of farmers. They were used to the person was they used to call a saukar. They used to lend money to farmers, and the concept of bonded labor uh, was established in that period of time. So the bonded labor used to work for a person who has lended money to him or her. So he used to repay the amount, and as soon as he or she is born, the tag of bonded labor was stamped on his hand, or basically on hand. So he or she used to work as a bonded labor for the whole of his or her lifetime till the amount gets repaid. So that was a very exploiting thing, which a person used to exploit a bonded labor uh, in the form of wages, in the form of payment to that labor. The bonded labor basically did not get any kind of, or he used to get no money from a person who has employed him or her. So that was the concept of bonded labor. When the struggle for freedom was in force, and various freedom fighters, they used to they have fought they have fought for the freedom. So at that period of time, the reformers, the society reformers, they were of the opinion that the practice of child labor should be abolished from the society, or the concept of bonded labor, that should also be abolished from the society, and the uh, uh, reforms in the field of child labor, or we can say accumulatedly the reforms in the field of labor, that were considered by the social reformers or the law reformers. So that was the era when abolition of child labor was considered, and steps to curtail the practice of child labor was taken by these reformers or the social reformers. When our constitution was under the framing by the drafting committee, for which the drafting committee's chairman was Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar ji, and in the constitution, the drafting committee have thought or have acted to curtail the practice of child labor or the concept of begging. Okay, the begging is a concept was introduced in the Indian Penal Code as well in 1860. The concept of begging, what is the concept of begging, and what is the offense, and what is the exact scenario in begging, we are discussing on that later on. But the abolition of child labor was introduced in the Constitution of India. Article 24 of the Constitution of India says that no person who is the age below of 14 years shall not be allowed to work in any establishment, in any factory, or in any organization in any circumstance. What do you mean by any circumstance? This circumstance means a person who is minor or person who is child, he cannot be allowed in a in an environment where the life of the person who is working, or life of the minor or the child who is working in that establishment or the factory or the organization, the environment in which is very hazardous, or it will be harmful for a minor or the child who is working under that environment or in that company or in that organization or in that establishment. So that was the question, or that was the main crux of the abolition of child labor was introduced in the Constitution of India. The Supreme Court, the Honorable Supreme Court of India, in its various judgments, landmark judgments, abolished the concept of child labor, or the abolished the concept of practice or the practice of child labor. So the Constitution of India expressly provided under Article 24 by saying that the practice of child labor should be abolished from the country wholly. So after introducing a constitution, the Parliament of India, they took initiative to give them a substantial weightage in the form of law. In Constitution of India, which was introduced in 1950, or it was forced, it was come into existence. It was uh, what we can say, it, uh, it was come into force in 1950. After 1950, the period of 1950, in the period of 1986, the Parliament of India introduced a new enactment, a new statute, which will curtail wholly the practice of child labor. Okay, so in the year of 1986, the Parliament of India introduced a new law which will abolish the child labor, the practice of child labor completely. So that was the exact scenario happened in the year of 1986. So the Parliament of India, they introduced a law saying by named as, the law was named as a Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986. Okay, this act is a act in which the definition of child is given. Under the Factors Act, the definition of child is given. Under the Indian Penal Code 1860, the definition of child is given. So what are the exact definition and what are the offenses, what are the exact provisions given under this act? We will be going through that. Okay, so the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act extended to the whole of India. Okay, not only to the whole of India, and in previous uh, era, we can say era, when the law used to say that the law, this act applies to the whole of India except to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And nowadays, after uh, striking down the Article 370, the laws of the country are also apply to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so provision, so section 1 subsection 2 says that it applies to the whole of India. Okay, part 3, as far as part 3 of the statute is concerned, part 3 is applicable to the particular state when the particular state takes the initiative by official gazette saying that this part 3 will apply to the uh, particular state. So that particular part 3 will apply to that particular state, unless and until that state takes the initiative through official gazette. This part, the part 3 will not apply to them. Okay, definitions part, appropriate government, we have discussed on various occasions that what do you mean by appropriate government. Okay, child, the main crux, the main crux of the topic, the concept of child, what do you mean by child, and the definition of child given under section 2 subsection 2. Child means a person who has not completed his 14 years of age. Now the 14 years is different in different acts. Okay, in some acts it has given a 15 years, in some acts it has given a 14 years. Okay, so that is the differentiation between different definitions given under varieties of laws. Okay, so there are various definitions given. So what is the main section under this act? Section 2 subsection 2, that is important part, and section 3. Section 3 is the prohibition given on child labor. Okay, if we uh, talk about the abolition of child labor, section 3 is there. Section is 3 is present to abolish the practice of child labor. What does it exactly says? I'll be reading out. Prohibition of employment of children in certain occupation and processes. Okay, no child shall be employed or permitted to work in any of the occupations set forth in part A of the schedule or in any workshop wherein any of the processes set forth in part B of the schedule is carried on. Okay, whatever has been given under part B of the statute, that will be prohibited, that will be abolished. Okay, that will be prohibit the establishment from employing a child as a labor, provided there is an exception given, provided that nothing in this section shall apply to any workshop wherein any process is carried on by the occupier with the aid of his family, or to any school established by or receiving any assistance or recognition from government. Okay, suppose the government has recognized that this particular establishment, this particular industry has worked with the recognition from the government, or with the, or we can say in a more layman's language, that after obtaining a particular approval for working in the industry, the particular industry can employ a child or the family. Okay, the family or the of the child, after recognition, after a particular, after due recognition from the government, that particular industry is allowed to employ a family of the child. Okay, so that was the crux of the statute, that says that if the person who is not, who is below the age of 14 years shall be prohibit from employing a child. Okay, so that was the act which provides for the abolition of practice of child labor. Section 3 prohibits the concept of child labor with the exception of the approval, by taking necessary approval from the government, or the recognition, by getting a necessary recognition from the government, uh, an employer can employ a family of the child. Okay, so that was the concept of child labor. So what was the, what are the another provisions given under this act is hours and period of work. So what does it says? Hours and period of work of a child who has duly recognized by the government and duly employed by the employer or the industry, by taking the necessary approval from the government. What are the exact hours of the workings? So it says that no child shall be required or permitted to work in any establishment in excess of such number or hours as may be prescribed for such establishment or class of establishments. By taking the approval from the government gives the directions or the guidelines for the employer to how to employ that particular child in a safety, in a healthy environment. Okay, so those guidelines, as per those guidelines and as per those rules, that particular employment can be done by the employer. Okay, the period of work on each day shall be so fixed that no period shall exceed 3 hours. Okay, as per section 7 subsection 2, it says that the period of the guidelines or the directions given by the government to the employer, that period should not be exceed to 3 hours. Okay, and that no child shall work for more than 3 hours before he has had an interval for rest of at least 1 hour. The child should get at least a rest of one of a period of 1 hour. No child shall be permitted or required to work between 7 p.m. and 8 a.m. So at night shift, we can say night shift, it has already been prohibited. Weekly holidays should be given by the employer. Notice to inspector every occupier in relation to an establishment in which a child was employed or permitted to work immediately before a child of before the commencement of this act in relation to such establishment shall within a period of 30 days from such commencement send to the inspector within whose local limits the establishment is situated a written notice containing the following particulars, namely the name and situation of the establishment, the name of the person in actual management of the establishment, the address to which communications relating to establishment should be sent, and the nature of the occupation of process carried on in the establishment. Okay. See, as far as the section 8 is concerned, the period in which the act came into force in an establishment or in an organization where the employer has employed a child should given a notice to the government in prescribing the particulars given under this section. What are the particulars? The name and the situation of the establishment, the name of the person in actual management of the establishment, the address to which communications relating to the establishment should be sent, the nature of the occupation or process carried on in the establishment. That particular shall be sent to the appropriate authority under the government within a period of 30 days. What does subsection 2 says? Every occupier in relation to an establishment who employs or permits to work any child after the date of commencement of this act in relation to such establishment shall within a period of 30 days from the date of such employment send to the inspector within whose local limits the establishment is situated a written notice containing particulars as are mentioned in subsection 1. Okay. What is the difference between subsection 1 and subsection 2? That is, a person who has employed a child before the commencement of this statute shall send a notice by prescribing particulars given under subsection 1 of section 8, that particular should be sent within a period of 30 days. Okay. And what is the procedure after enacting or after coming this act into force? That a person shall send a notice prescribing the particulars as given under subsection 1. Those particulars shall be sent to the inspector within a period of 30 days. Okay. Maintenance has to register has to be maintained. Health and safety, section 13 more particularly gives safety or the healthy environment to the child who has been employed by the employer by taking due permission from the appropriate government. Okay. What are the safety measures given by the act? First is cleanliness in the place of work and its freedom from nuisance. Disposal of waste and effluents. Ventilation and temperature that should be measured. Dust and fume. Artificial humidification. So that should be uh, safely measured. Lighting, drinking water should be safe. Latrine and urinals, spittoons, fencing of machinery, work at or near machinery in motion, employment of children on dangerous machines, that should be considered. So device for cutting of power, self-acting machines, easing of new machinery, floor stairs and means of access, speed sumps, opening up in floors, etc. Excessive weights, protection of eyes, explosive or inflammable dust, gas, etc. that should be protected from the child. Precautions in case of fire, maintenance of buildings and safety of building in and machinery. That should be considered by the employer as far as the protection of the children is concerned. Penalty, what are the penalties given under this act? Is Section 14 describes more elaboratively uh, for the concept of penalty. What are the penalties? We will be discussing on that. Whoever employs any child or permits any child to work in contravention of the provisions of Section 3. What we have discussed, the Section 3 is more important, most important part in the Child Labor Prevention and Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986. What does it say? Whoever employs any child or permits any child to work in contravention of this provision of Section 3 shall be punishable with the imprisonment for a period or for a term which shall not be less than 3 months, but which may extend to 1 year, or with fine which shall not be less than 10,000 rupees, but which may extend to 20,000 rupees. Okay, what if this offense has committed twicely? Okay, firstly, it has been committed by the offender or by the employer, and the particular penalty has been awarded to them. And after committing again that same offense, that particular penalty will be twice the amount previously previously awarded to the employer or the offender. So what will be the amount? Suppose the amount has committed twicely by the employer or the offender, the amount will be shall be punishable with imprisonment for a period which shall not be which shall not be less than 6 months. Earlier, uh, in the occasion of first commission of the offense, that is penalty given a period of 3 months, and after committing twice, after committing the same offense again, then the penalty will be twice. That will be a imprisonment of 6 months, which may extend to 2 years, or in earlier scenario it was extended to 1 year. If we commit the same offense again, it will be twice the punishment given and in a previous occasion. Okay, so those are the provisions given under Child Labor Prevention and Regulation Act 1986. So these are the important provisions given under this act. Part A given occupations, Part B given under this act uh, processes in which the hazardous activity particularly goes on. So in that uh, scenario, Part B has been elaboratively explained what are the processes and uh, what action should be taken in that process. Okay, so that was the concept of child labor. The child labor has already been demolished, has already been abolished by the Constitution of India. Article 24 abolishes the child labor practice. What is the concept of begging? Section 363A of the Indian Penal Code provides the offense for a person who has abducted or kidnapped a minor for the purpose of begging. Okay, the minor who has been kidnapped by a person who is not a legal guardian to that particular minor, or who is not a family member of that child, and who has abducted or who has kidnapped that particular child for the purpose of begging, that uh, section provides the offense of child labor, and that person should that person will be punishable as per the Indian Penal Code, as per the section 363A is concerned. So what is section 363A says that kidnapping or maiming a minor for purpose of begging. Okay, section subsection 1 says that of section 363A, whoever kidnaps any minor or not being the lawful guardian of a minor obtains the custody of the minor in order that such minor may be employed or used for the purpose of begging shall be punishable with imprisonment of either description for term which may extend to 10 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Subsection 2 says that whoever maims any minor in order that such minor may be employed or used for the purpose of begging shall be punishable with imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. Subsection 3 says that where any person not being the lawful guardian of a minor employs or uses such a minor for the purpose of begging, it shall be resumed unless the contrary is proved, that he kidnapped or otherwise obtained the custody of that minor in order that the minor might be employed or used for the purposes for begging. The terminology of begging has been defined under section 363A of the Indian Penal Code as soliciting or receiving alms in public place, whether under the pretense of singing, dancing, fortune telling, performing tricks, or selling articles, or otherwise. We daily uh, see children begging around the street, begging around the traffic, begging around the railway stations by performing a trick, by performing an acting, by performing a singing. Those children are not allowed to beg in the public places or beg anywhere. That is considered as an offense under the 363A. Suppose I am a person and I allow my child to beg in the street. Okay, whether that will be allowed or not, so that is a question of fact, and that will be decided by the court of law, that that person is allowed to uh, children allowed to their children to beg or not. Specifically saying that the person who is allowing to children to beg in these public places, they are not allowed to do so. They are not allowed to do so. But as far as the situation is concerned in our country, most people most people they allowed they beg in the street, and with them their children also beg. So that is a question of fact, and that should be decided by the court of law. And if we concern that the person morally they are not allowed to uh, solicit their children for begging. Okay, so begging means receiving, soliciting, or receiving alms in public places. Okay, whether under the pretense of singing, dancing, fortune telling, performing tricks, or selling articles or otherwise. What does subclause 2 says? Entering on any private premises for the purpose of soliciting or receiving alms. exposing or object exhibiting with the object of obtaining or extorting arms, any sore, wound, injury, deformity, or disease, whether or himself, whether of himself or of any other person or any animal or of an on an or of any other person or of an animal. Suppose I am a child and I am uh, performing a trick by injuring myself, that is not allowed. Okay, or I am injuring an animal, okay, who is with me, so that is prohibited by the law, and that is prohibited by specifically under section 363A of the Indian Penal Code. Minor, the concept, the definition of minor given as, in the case of male, a person under 16 years of age. As I have said, the varieties of meanings, varieties of definitions given under various laws in this particular section. The minor means, in the case of male, a person who is below the age of 16 years. In the case of female, a person under the age of 18 years. Okay, so that is the definition, that is the prohibition given under section 363A of the Indian Penal Code. So that was the uh, statutory part of the abolition of child labor and abolition of begging, the practice of begging. So the practice of child labor has already been abolished by law, but in some part, or in basically in the sector of unorganized uh, business entities or unorganized sectors, in not in all the sectors, such as in the unorganized industries, not in all the industries, but in few sectors in the field of unorganized business entities, the practice of child labor is still goes going on. I have seen a few videos of child labor in which these these all are small industries, small scale industries. They what they make tobacco products. Okay, so in that small scale industries, still this child, this person, this the minor, they use as a labor in that particular field. So what it affects, what it gives disadvantage to the society is that those child, those minors, they are not allowed to educate, they are not allowed to take education from the they are not allowed to take education from the they are not allowed to take education from schools. They are not allowed to go to the schools. So this practicing still happens in India, in villages, in small scale, in fewest part. It has already been going on. So what is the need, what is the exact action needed to curtail this kind of practices is the inspection. Due to no inspection, or in Factors Act, it has already been provided the provision for inspection in various establishment where the establishment is registered as business entity, or the factory or the organization. In that particular laws, the the provision of inspection has already been provided, but due to lack of implementation of laws, the practice of these kind of child labor practices is still in force in fewest small scale industries. Okay, so these are the scenarios are these are the present scenarios of the child labor is present in the society. And what it exactly gives disadvantage to the society is the children of this country, they remain uneducated, and they don't get a job, a professional job, or very technical job, or where we can say that due to lack of education, the person who was employed as a minor in his childhood, he will not get substantial what we can say substantial employment opportunities in his future. So that is the disadvantage which are causing to the society. So this is the uh, what we can say uh, the harmed situation which is still in force, that should be curtailed, uh, that should be administered by the law. So begging, uh, taking a child as a labor, or giving them critical uh, working environment, that should be hazardous, that should be curtailed, that should be abolished by the person who is employing the children. That already has already been curtailed, that already been abolished by the law. But implementation, when it comes to the morality, I am a person and I am a I'm an employer, I give employment to the person, and I want to hire a child, then I shall make sure that child should work in a healthy environment, or in a particular good environment which will be healthy for his education, which will be healthy for his future. That should be considered by the employer. Those are the responsibilities of the employer. So uh, we all know that practices of selling newspapers, selling petty things on roads, that still goes on. But lack of implementation gives rise to the child labor. That should be curtailed. That should be uh, prohibited by the laws. So who will take actions? We are the person. We are the society. So the society should take the responsibility of abolition of child. The abolition of the practice of child labor is already been abolished by the law, but still in few uh, sectors of the society, it still is in force. So that practice should be abolished. And who is the responsible for person for taking this kind of actions? The society. The society should take the actions to curtail this kind of practices. Unless and until we curtail totally the practice of uh, child labor and begging, our future, which are the minor, which are the children, they are the future of the society. They will not get educated, they will not get their substantial rights, they will not aware about their future. So how we will uh, grow as a nation? So that is the philosophy before behind the abolition, behind the concept of abolition of child labor practice and begging. That should be the responsibility of the society as well. That should not be on the particular that should not be on the shoulder of a government. That should be on the shoulder on the go of the society as well. The society should also take the responsibility to curtail this kind of practices from the society. And we are the responsible person or these kind of the practices which are still in force, and that should be abolished by the society. It has already been abolished by the law, but it needs to be abolished by the society. So with this, I take your leave. So I say thank to all of you for having patience for such a long period. So I'll be coming with the new topic, with the new session uh, soon. So till then, I take your leave. Thank you for having patience. Thank you again.